Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to another show where we discuss Jingle, or events where we discuss Jingle and the current situation in Pakistan with its growth. If you have been here with us from the start of the journey, you know the shape of Jingle and what it does. The last time that we were on an event, we talked about the campaign live across Pakistan. We've seen a few installations since then, and the minutes of international voice traffic are now expected to increase with what I'm about to tell you. Tonight, we'll get specific, and tonight I have some numbers to show you and some new fronts that are about to open. And at the end, we're putting down the microphone and we'll open the floor to you for questions. So, for anyone joining us for the first time, just in case, here's a one-liner. Jingle is a plugin that application developers build into their applications. When you install one of those applications and opt in, your phone can turn the ordinary international calls that it already receives into income and revenue, with a share for you, a share for the application developer or owner, and a share for the network that carries it. It's opt-in, it's consent first, it's private by design. That's the product. And tonight, let's talk about some of the latest traction behind it. So let's discuss where we are, what's coming next, and then let's have a chat if there are any questions. So let's start with a number. 17,000. As of this week, we have 17,000, just over 17,000 users live on Jingle in Pakistan. And those are people that have installed a Jingle enabled application, switched Jingle on, opted in, and they're now part of the network. This is not a projection, it's not a target. These are the live users today. And you can see those users. Every one of those activations shows up on the Explorer, explorer.minutesnetwork.io, exactly as it happens. Well, just after it happens. So if you remember where we started, our first pushes were measured in the tens of thousands of people installing. And tonight, we're talking about the future of Jingle in Pakistan and many other countries, and we do expect to have much more than the current 17,000 users that are online in Pakistan. We are just opening the throttle. So the question we get asked more than any other question is quite a simple one. How does somebody actually get Jingle? So let's answer this head on. It's not a single application that you go and download by name. It's a plugin. It's a small, lightweight piece of technology that app developers build into their own applications, or that we release in conjunction or cooperation with partnering marketing firms or local applications on the ground. So Jingle is not something that you download, you get it inside an application that you already want or an application that you see marketed. Now, here's how it works in practice. A developer will build Jingle into their application. You install or update that application from the Play Store, just like any other update. And somewhere inside that application, you are invited clearly, never by surprise, to switch Jingle on. You say yes, and from that moment, your phone can quietly and privately help carry the inbound international calls at any time in the background without ever getting in your way. And of course, you earn from it, and so does the application, and so does the network. So when I say 17,000 people alive, or just over 17,000 people alive in Pakistan, here's exactly what I mean. They have found or been given an application with Jingle built in, installed, and switched Jingle on. And that's the bridge, start to finish, okay? The campaign reaches people. They install an application with Jingle built in and opted in, and another light appears on the map. And if there are any developers that are among us today or that hear this conversation, this is for you too. So if you have an application with users, Jingle is a new native line of revenue that you can add to your application without charging your users a penny and without getting in their way. They opt in, they earn, and you earn alongside them. That's the offer, and we'd love to talk to you. Feel free to reach out to us via the Jingle website. The principle underneath all of it never changes, of course, no matter how big we get, right? Every activation is opt in and consent first. It's SMS verified. There's no location, no GPS. Audio is never recorded. You can switch it off anytime. It's Google Play compliant, GDPR aligned, and we grow by invitation and opt in, not by surprise. So, where's the campaign? It's live and it's kept running all week, exactly as it has been recently. We're working with a range of marketing partners on the ground in Pakistan, and we have several campaign mediums lined up to fire in synchronization. We're not looking at one channel at a time, but together each one reinforces the other channel, and we're pressing hard on every one of them at once. Now, let me show you why we are so confident. The average conversion ratios that we've been seeing in Pakistan range from 0.7% up to 6.8%. And that depends on the type of traffic that's being delivered, the type of marketing and the marketing medium. Now, across these different campaign types, we're seeing these conversion rates, and this spread tells us something very important. Some of these channels are performing well, extremely well, and we know which levers to pull. We're not guessing. We're reading the results. We're pressing on what works, and candidly, the reach should already be higher than it is today. We are waiting on an increase in reach to unlock the next gear. That's not a setback. It's simply the difference between the pace that we're running at today and the pace that this campaign is built for. As that reach comes online, it'll be visible, and we expect the campaign to pick up additional pace and reach. And we'll tell you the moment that it does. And the target we set out hasn't moved. Ideally, we would, have as many millions of users onboarded in Pakistan as possible. That's what all of this is built to sort of reach and go after. Tonight's numbers are how we build towards it deliberately and in the open. We fully expect Jingle in Pakistan to be a massive success. Now, here's what makes tonight more than a progress update. It's not just that the campaign scales and that we're expecting a massive acceleration in scale. It's that three more fronts are about to open, and each one on its own is a step forward. Now, the Creators Program. First of all, the Jingle Creators Program is coming to Pakistan in the coming weeks. Here's the concept. We take an influencer or a brand, we give them their own application. They didn't have one before. It's a Jingle loaded application built for their brand free of charge. Their audience installs it, opts in, and everybody shares in the value. Their brand, in their followers' pockets, earning powered by Jingle underneath. It also attaches a outbound dialer, which you'll hear more about from Minutes Network in the coming weeks. The dialer product is actually due to be released in the next couple of weeks. So that'll be integrated within the Creators Program as well. And we have quite the lineup of micro influencers, larger influencers in Pakistan, in Jamaica, and beyond that will be utilizing this software and earning revenue from this software whilst powering and serious growth to the network. Now, the second thing is we're working to bring additional traffic onto the network, not only in Pakistan, but also Pakistan, but across a range of other countries. Coupled with Jingle, that traffic can increase the margins where Jingle is installed and help reinvigorate carrier revenues. That's what Minutes Network does. It will also grow and scale the revenue at Minutes Network, and it's what we do best. It will keep exploring every opportunity to bring more traditional traffic on and to be monetized further by Jingle and light up more countries on the map under the hyperscaling model. So the third thing is it's a consequence of the first two items I just mentioned. As each of those elements goes live, the scaled campaign, the Creators Program, the additional traffic or additional countries that will join the traditional traffic that's being terminated on the network today, we do expect a sudden increase in the Jingle related installs around the world. And we're not expecting a gentle curve. A series of step ups, right? Each time another element switches on or another component in the network switches on. Of course, we do have the telecommunications exchange as well, releasing pretty much immediately. So it's one network, it's several engines, and they're all coming online together. So here's what all of this is pointed at, everything that we're learning in Pakistan, what converts, where, for who, how, etc. It travels, right? Pakistan's the first major market for Jingle, and it's teaching us how to run the next one and the one after that, right? And even better, I mean, every lesson compounds here. So we want to see the Explorers World Map lit up with Jingle-enabled destinations, country by country, wherever we secure the underlying traffic. Soon the partners and the users, to really push this to its absolute limit. And when you watch these light up across the Explorer, don't just see Pakistan, right? See this as a template for everywhere that comes next. And one more thing. So, for the partners and carriers that might be listening to this or in the room with us tonight, you will remember the exchange and the wholesale telecom exchange you can run just by talking to it, right? We have some very nice embedded AI technologies that set us apart from the competitors. I won't, endeavor to list them all now. You'll see them pretty soon. And it's set, as I said, for release in the immediate future. So, tonight's detail is that when it lands, the exchange will be carrying Jingle enabled routes on day one, and you'll see them marked with the Jingle icon right there in the exchange's marketplace. So that's two halves of the same engine made visible. Jingle builds the endpoint capacity that the international traffic terminates through. And the exchange is where the wider industry discovers it, trades it, routes through it. And now with Jingle powered routes flagged for everybody to find and use. So that's the update. And for part two, last time, we told you in the next event we would open the floor. So that's exactly where we are now. And that's what we're going to do. Feel free to ask us anything. As usual, the rules are simple. There are none. The campaign, the numbers, the apps, how the earnings work, the creators program, the new traffic, the exchange, where we go next, where we are today. Whatever your mind can think of, you are welcome to ask. We are obviously on top of the questions that have been gathered across social media, and we'll take those live as well. Let me start off with one of the most asked questions. How does somebody actually get Jingle? Well, as I said earlier, you get it inside applications. Those applications are either partnered applications or integrated applications, and they're becoming, there's actually quite a few applications that are starting to integrate and finishing to integrate Jingle at this point. Some of them larger than others, some of them are in countries that we're already running traffic in, and some of them you might see popping up on the Explorer very shortly. So if we could please open the floor to live questions, that would be fantastic. We do, just to reiterate before we go to the live questions, we do expect the campaign to continue at its current pace until it changes pace to a much faster accelerated version. We are waiting on standby for partners on the ground and pushing very hard for that to happen. We do expect a tremendous increase in pace very shortly on the ground in Pakistan. And obviously, in the next 7, 10, 12 days, we'll be running another event, because that's the sort of time frame that we're expecting to see that major change. Now, if I could open the floor to questions, that would be fantastic. Please, you'll feel free to request to speak. I have Callus Bling. Just to be absolutely clear, I do not see anybody else requesting to speak at this time. If you'd like to speak, feel free to raise your hand. Hi, Callus. How are you today?
Hey, Josh, I'm doing great. Hope you guys are doing well. I got a
All
bunch of
is well.
questions.
Thank you. Yes,
Um,
please.
yeah, so when you guys started the hyperscaling in Pakistan, there's an app that the one specifically that you guys are running the campaigns for. Do you have a name for the app? I know that's been asked a few times in the community. It's something that they kind of are really interested in. Like, what kind of app is it? What's the name? Or you mentioned
So,
there's multiple.
right. So there are several applications at this time that are being marketed in Pakistan. And those applications are not named because they are partner applications. They are not our own applications. I will ask the one of the partners to join us perhaps in the next show. And we can have a chat about those applications and what they do. I do know that we have a cricket related application. And I also know that we have a voice related application as well. Some of those applications are obviously more in depth than others, and they are all person focused, right? So these marketing agencies are creating or retrieving or getting these applications based on demand and based on what the users might like in some cases.
Perfect. Thank you. So the last time we talked, the last AMA, we were focusing on the SMS campaign, and I know there's you just mentioned that there's going to be a few other campaigns coming, or different types of media coming. But can you give us sort of a brief overview of what sort of went sideways on the campaign in terms of the amount of text that were supposed to go out versus what actually went out?
So I
Um,
must tell you that it's not only SMSs that are a part of this campaign. This is a much wider campaign that's running right now across various mediums. At least, 3 or 4 different methods are actually currently underway. That being said, sideways, we would say that it's a bit slow. We would like it to be faster. We are seeing traction, and we are seeing quite a good retention rate. So with all of that being said, I can tell you that it is expected to pick up in terms of speed. And we do expect additional mediums to be coming online as well. We obviously would like it to be faster. We're doing everything that we can to ensure that it generates as much traction as possible and travels at the speed that we would like it to travel at. And yeah, I mean, everything that I'm hearing from the ground, from the marketing agencies, from the local partners, reassures me that this will increase in user installation speed.
So what's you just mentioned that those apps are partner apps, which is great. What's the difference? What differentiates between the partner apps that you guys are kind of partnering with Hyperscale and just an app like Boss Revolution or something like that?
Right, so it's a good question. So a regular application, let's take just a random name. Let's take Boss Revolution as an example. Now, if you look at Boss Revolution, the users are actually related to calling. Okay, so those users, they have an interest in making and receiving calls, right? That's why they downloaded Boss Revolution in the first place. Now, if we look at an application that's not a voice related application or not a calling application, not all of the users receive international calls. The applications that we are currently marketing in Pakistan are based on and marketed to users in Pakistan that receive frequent international calls. Okay, and what that actually means is you need a lot less users of an application to generate a lot more connectivity. Whereas if you take a game, we don't know how many of those gamers that play the game actually utilize international calls or receive international calls, right? So it's a bit different. Now, if you have a very large application like SEW, for example, they cover a lot of users in the world. So you can be sure that, enough percentage wise of those users are actually receiving international calls. If you take an application with 7 million users, you might have an application with a high frequent callee or international call receiving user base, or you might have a very low international call receiving base, right? It really depends. So that's why we say that we're building the network in a building block manner, right? We use applications to connect, more users to the network, and therefore we're building this network out of blocks made up of applications, right? That's exactly the scenario there. So for these users, all of these users are frequent callees. They are all people that receive a lot of calls every day or every other day or every week on the ground in Pakistan. And that's the major difference.
So thanks. You did bring up SCW though, so I'd be remiss to ask. What's
Absolutely.
what's the latest on SCW?
Well, SEW is an absolute game changer. Okay. And we built some very incredibly special technology at the time for SEW. And we are actually consistently pushing to bring them online. The last messages exchanged between us and SEW probably around 12 days ago. Okay. They are positive messages. They have absolutely not said no, we're not interested. This is a thing of they have only shown interest, and we are pushing that integration as quickly as we can. As I have said previously, they have been sent the GitHub repos containing all of the Jingle source code, and we are pushing because we know the value that that brings not only to us and our users and our partners and the participants involved, but also to SEW as well, right? For me, SEW is a life-changing, massive venture. Okay, and I would love to have them integration, the integration finalized. So I can't give you a time frame today, but I can tell you that we're actively working on it. It's absolutely on the cards, and it will surprise us all when it comes.
Oh, can't wait for that. Going back to the campaign right now, you said there's multiple mediums, different types. Can you give us an example other than I know we've heard of SMS? Can you give us any sort of other idea of what the campaign's running?
Yes, there are some call center campaigns that are active as well. And there are direct in app marketing sort of adverts going out as well to those specific users. We can obviously only market to the whitelisted users that work with the marketing companies that we're working with locally, but that's exactly how the marketing companies are running it. And the conversion rates are very interesting across the board. We like what we see. We're encouraged by what we see. Of course, again, I can tell you that we would like to see it happen faster, and we will ensure that it happens as quickly as possible. It's our, it's our goal or prerogative to ensure that this happens, as quickly as possible. We get as many users online as quickly as possible to scale the size of our carrier and to scale the size of the opportunities. Don't forget, there are also a lot of large carriers looking at this operation that would like to get involved as well going forward. We have had numerous conversations with those carriers, and they are obviously very interested in the rollout of the technologies that they're seeing.
Great. Now that the Jingle campaign is kind of been going on in Pakistan, will you guys will the team be focusing on other countries, or do we
We
need to
are
hit?
actually we're actually looking at other countries right now. We're looking at some key countries. More information on this will obviously be released. There are a number of contracts laying around on the various desks right now, and we are sort of having a look at what can be done to continuously scale worldwide, not only in Pakistan, and light up the map in terms of where Jingle is available elsewhere, sort of outside of Pakistan. There is a lot of emphasis on that. Although Pakistan, the campaign remains the major focus today. Yes, we're looking at scale in parallel, and we're looking at the numbers. It's all very interesting, and these are things that we will share in time.
Right. So, well, the reason I kind of asked that is because you mentioned we would see sort of Jingle numbers coming on in waves around the world. And so I was just curious, sort of what you thought the time frame would be for that. And I know time frames are always tricky, but maybe if you could give us a.
They are tricky, Callus, because with the best will in the world, right? You can push as hard as you like, and sometimes there's just a matter of things that need to be done, right? However, that being said, with the contracts that we currently have on the various tables right now, we are probably looking at onboarding the next 7 to 10 countries under a hyperscaling model with Jingle in the next, I would like to say, the next couple of weeks. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get all of those 7 to 10 countries online in the next couple of weeks. However, it does mean that is the anticipated, expected, outcome of the existing efforts that are being put in by the team.
Okay. And have you guys, you've mentioned some of the partner apps in the traditional sort of Jingle model that we heard about, like that SEW is running. Have you guys still reaching out to new applications and seeing interest? Or I know there
Well,
was a demo app that was supposed to show up, but
I can tell you that we are looking at listing on the Unity 3D store for developers right now. That might be something that happens pretty. And we are also talking to a number of other applications that are in various stages of development and integration of the Jingle application, including Muslim Pro, including Boss Revolution, including SEW, and a number of other large.
Josh,
It's a billion. You lost me there,
I
Callus?
did lose you there quickly. Yes, you're back. You were back.
I do apologize, guys. Looks like I'm having some network issues. I don't have my World Mobile SIM card in as it stands. Okay, so we're talking to the various integrations in the various stages. I'll repeat what I said. We're talking to SEW. We're talking to Boss Revolution. We're talking to Muslim Pro. I don't know if you caught the part on Unity 3D. There are a number of other applications that we're currently in the process of exploring the integration with. And we're also obviously continuing the relationship with the very large UK company that we mentioned previously. And that company, I don't have permission to expose the name of today, but I can tell you that it is moving forward. They are a very, very large company with a billion plus users. So, we're anticipating massive growth. And as these applications fall into place and as these applications integrate with Jingle and they finalize the integrations, we will see a massive upshift in activity on the network. I mean, it's very obvious, right?
Right. You did mention also the creator program earlier, and you mentioned something about a dialer in the creative program. What is that, and how does that work?
A dialer is something that allows locals to make cheap calls, right? If you go to Rebtel or you go to any of these, large people that offer you to make, telephone calls from your phone or from your computer cheaper than your carrier, right? Or with bundles. We have a solution that utilizes the routing at Minutes Network, utilizes our LCR, our platform, and now our telecommunications exchange. And we have highly competitive rates compared to some of the destinations. We're not quite there, right? We're not quite as good. Like if you look at, Poland, for example, Poland we don't specialize in, and we don't have a particularly good rate to Poland. So some of these web phones that exist today, some of these existing dialers, they might beat our rate in certain places, but generally we have much lower rates than the competition. Generally, this dialer will be available for all countries, and it will be available for those people that download an application. Let's say that you like a certain musician or you like a certain YouTube influencer, right? Not all of these musicians and YouTube influencers have applications today. They might feel that they don't need them and there's no need to have an application, or they just haven't got around to it, right? Now, the Creators app is an instant application that they can make and customize with their team. They own the application. It has Jingle inside it from day one, and they earn money from it, right? So there's a whole prospectus on that, and we have a whole load of documentation. The Creators program will be available to sign up to very, very shortly. I mean, you can already go to Jingle Boost and have a look at that program, but it's just being expanded right now. And we are looking at having, some of the major artists that we found in Jamaica, some of these major influencers and micro influencers in Pakistan that we've been talking to. And it will just sort of bolster the numbers that we already have on the network. I mean, if somebody has 500,000 or 5 million or 20 million TikTok followers or Instagram followers or YouTube viewers, subscribers, then even a small percentage of those people actually downloading the fans application or the influencer or the creators application, which is fully customized to them, listed under them in the App Store. It's a big deal. It's a big deal because Jingle's in there, so they'll be receiving calls and we'll be monetizing them on the inbound, and they'll also have access to the dialer product where we'll be monetizing them on the outbound as well. And that traffic will be available and visible on the Minutes Network Explorer as usual.
And so for the exchange that we you just mentioned, which is going live soon, you said Jingo routes will be enabled from day one. Would that be just specifically those people in Pakistan, or Is there more jingle routes that we are not necessarily aware of maybe right now?
So we do have some users in various countries on Jingle, uh, primarily not launched due to the fact that we don't have enough users to match the amount of inbound traffic in the country. We do expect that number to increase over time. It's very important to not, complicate the fact, right? The creators program is actually completely different to the active campaign in Pakistan today. Okay, we should not confuse those two facts. They run in parallel, they are different engines, parts of the same network. And the job and objective of both of these different engines is to drive additional traffic and revenue to Minutes Network.
Okay, that makes sense. So the creators program is not just limited to Pakistan, or is it going to start in Pakistan and then go kind of throughout the rest of the world? Like I know Jamaica has some already, so would it be just starting in Jamaica and Pakistan and then expanding, or are you just going to be expanding everywhere all at
Well,
once?
we've done quite a few campaigns locally in Pakistan, in Jamaica already previously. So we have quite a lot of effort that's already gone into the creators application out there. So if we see Jingle lighting up in Jamaica in the next, I don't know, couple of weeks, a month or so, it wouldn't surprise me, especially with the contracts that we have on our table.
Perfect. And then just maybe can you talk us through in terms of the campaign? You mentioned there's you you always want to push the scale as fast as humanly possible, but what can we expect maybe in the next immediate term, like 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks? Will we just kind of see this continued kind of grind upwards, as we call it, or will we? You mentioned as the larger kind of campaign scales, we should expect a higher mm, amount. So is that imminent, like in the next 3, 4 weeks, or is that sort of something that we'll
We
just see what
We
happens?
expect we expect to see continuous growth over the coming days, weeks, months, years. Okay, this is not a growth that stops. Okay, we don't just do something and stop it. This is a continuous growth in Pakistan, and we do expect that growth to continue to increase. And the pace, as I said previously, will definitely increase with the release of the additional marketing mediums and with the couple of requests that we've made on the ground to the marketing team. So you'll see that pace visibly increase as we expect live on the Explorer as it happens. And of course, we'll be very excited about it and we'll also make an announcement as soon as the pace has increased. But you can expect to see a continuation, getting faster and faster.
Well, that's very good. Um, Yeah, so the influencers themselves are building their own apps. They own their own apps, but Jingle is already added to that.
Right, but
Um,
they don't have to build an application. They get given an application with Jingle already embedded, and they're passed that application under a contract. They then release that application to their fans, and it's another
right.
way for us to scale. If you consider that there aren't with 3 million people in Jamaica that there aren't too many telephone users over there, and there are even less people that receive inbound calls. Right, so it's a very interesting market. It's the same as Albania for us, and we have a couple of other destinations that we're extremely interested in as well. Kosovo. The full list will be released and very obviously stated on the map on the Explorer as we expand. Um, and we look forward to closing some of these, integrations with the larger applications, because as soon as those integrations are final, at that point, the map will light up even brighter.
Right. I think that pretty much finishes my list of questions. One other thing, we had talked earlier about the exchange. I know in other AMAs we had sort of thought that the exchange would be ready sometime, or for public release sometime in September. Is that still sort of what you guys are looking to do, or has that changed? The timeline shifted?
We we do look forward to having this out immediately, whether that's, in the next couple of days, in the next 10, 20 days. We really, we can't give you a date at this time, but we do know that it will be, out practically immediately. I expect it to be out in the coming week. Okay. That being said, if it takes 2 weeks or it takes 10 days, I hope you understand.
Yeah. No, definitely do. All right.
Yeah, the exchange looks fantastic. We're very excited about what we have. So are our partners. There's nowhere in the industry that carriers can meet like on the exchange that we've built. So it is the industry's meeting place, and it should be very meaningful. We're looking forward to this release. We do have another couple of requesters to speak. We have King Warwolf and Matt Larsh. So, Callus, thank you very much for your questions. If you have anything else or you think of anything else, then please let me know.
Will do.
Thank you. I don't know who requested first, so I've just accepted you both. Hello, gentlemen. How are you today?
Good. Hello, Josh. Can you hear me?
I can hear you indeed. Just fine.
Great. I hopped on there first, so I'll make it quick.
No problem.
Okay, so I'm looking at the Explorer, and I've watched Jingle. I've watched the Jingle to the Explorer, to your the daily minutes, and it seems to be from, let's say, country analytics, traditional, and Jingle. Pakistan seems to hover between 8,000 and 12,000 minutes a day. What would you consider the bottom of the what you call hyperscale? What would make you happy to see, as, let's say, we made it work in Pakistan?
Okay.
Because I mean, it seems to hit about 10,000, and that's kind of where it's stalling.
So, in terms of the number of users, some of these users are worth $1,000 plus per year. Okay, in terms of talk times, some of these users are worth $50 a year. Okay, so we would obviously be very happy to see a smaller number of larger, sort of average revenue per user users coming online. Okay, and we would also be happy with a larger sort of average on the number of calls that are being made or received by these users in terms of frequent callees. So I think it's a tricky question. I would like to see millions of minutes per day in Pakistan being terminated on Jingle. Would I expect that in the immediate future? Probably not. However, I would expect to see hundreds of thousands of minutes per day being terminated in Pakistan and moving to the numbers in the higher millions. That would be a major success. That would, that would be extremely encouraging. So I'm, doing everything I can to ensure that the campaign goes at the maximum speed possible. There is a couple of triggers that we're waiting for the local teams to press on that will increase the productivity of the existing campaigns, and we're very aware of those triggers, and we are waiting for that to happen. Not only waiting, we're also pushing, and when it happens, it will be drastically obvious on the Explorer and for everybody to see. So I'm looking forward to that. We're obviously pushing towards it. I can't give you an exact number of users just because some users are worth much less than other users, right? So, but we would like to see that number much higher, and we will continue to push. Pakistan is the perfect country for it. It's obviously one of the most busiest corridors in the world for international calling. Although the rate is not like that of Albania and Jamaica as an example. But it's a very interesting country, and with the LDI that we have and the partners that we have on the ground over there, I think that it will be a tremendous success. That's what I'm personally expecting.
Okay, great. And I got one more question. So you guys hit the 25 and 25. This might be a little off topic, but I'll try to keep it towards Jingle. You hit the 25 and 25. We lost them on the map, on the global network map. We lost America and Canada. You can, if at some point, if you could explain why that happened, that'd be great. But what I haven't seen any other countries come on the map. Is this because you're focusing on Jingle, or and you do you feel you have enough countries on there now to get started, and then you'll start trying to grow the map? Is that kind of how you're looking at it, or?
So on the exchange, as it stands, we have 130 plus countries when it goes live. Okay. That's
Okay.
not to say that we're running traffic to all of those 130 countries. It's very important to understand the model of the exchange. We don't charge for a sign up. We charge per minute terminated. That's the traditional sort of cloud switching model in the industry. And the exchange is backed by the switch nodes as well. Okay. And these these minutes, as they come onto the exchange, they will obviously also appear on the Explorer, but in a different way, because that's not us carrying those minutes. However, we are charging to process and handle those minutes, right? So we will see more countries light up from the use of the exchange alone. That being said, we are looking to increase the amount of countries that are on the network today, not only with traditional traffic, but also coupled with Jingle under different deals, whether it's a MVNO or an LDI equivalent in each country. I think, with the paperwork that we have currently and with the accounts that we're looking at, the key accounts that we're talking to and looking at right now, I do think that within the next month or so, we'll see a dramatic shift in the amount of countries that are utilizing Jingle. Sorry, the amount of traffic to countries that we're utilizing Jingle on and with. And I do expect to see that number of countries live continue to increase over the year and over the future years to come. I mean, we're a carrier. We set out to become one of the largest or the largest carrier by user base. I don't think that's something that we're not going to do. I think that we'll reach that goal extremely easily with the help of a few larger applications that we're obviously working on and have been working with for a very long time now. Those are obviously very fruitful to us and very fruitful. Those deals are very serious. And as each one comes on board, it will change our position in terms of the rank of carriers by users worldwide. So future growth, it's inevitable, right? We have enough products there to, the specialist technologies that they're built for growth, right? They're engineered for growth. That being said, immediate future, obviously, we'll continue to push on the Pakistan campaign. We would like to see hundreds of thousands or millions of users, as soon as possible, and hundreds of thousands of minutes or even millions of minutes as soon as possible as well. We don't expect it to take too long. We expect, as I said previously, the growth to be very obvious and apparent as it takes place and as we shift gears with this existing campaign. I hope that answers your question, King Wolf. If it doesn't, please do feel free to, um, go further.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. No. That pretty much sums up what I was kind of looking at. I was trying to get an idea because you say hyperscale, and I mean honestly that could mean different things to different people. Some people might think, okay, well, 10,000 minutes a day in Pakistan is hyperscale compared to what we had. But I was just kind of wanted an idea of what you personally think what a successful hyperscale in Pakistan would look like to start off. Let's say, would you consider it a success at 100,000, a million? Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. So yeah, you answered it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you got
Look,
there.
we'll be very happy when we see the first $100,000 of income from Pakistan on a monthly basis, and we'll be even happier as we progress to the second the second 100,000 and the 300,000. I think there is a limit to what we can do with the frequent callees. But I expect that limit to be very high, and I expect that the revenue at Minutes Network to be very much tailored and very much tethered, for a better word, to the operational success of the products that we are relaunching, right? So success for me is higher revenue. It's very clear. More users, more minutes, higher revenue. For me, that's success. The higher that revenue, the happier we are. We do have an additional, 150, 120 plus countries that we will look to function in. So it's not just Pakistan, and from there you can see, where the future will take us, right? Especially coupled with things like the Creators application and the integration of these larger pieces of software with Jingle as well.
Okay, great. And one last ask, and then I'll let someone else hop in there. can the team think about maybe putting together another AMA in the future whenever you guys get around to it to maybe talk about just the overall health and growth of Minutes Network? And this, I want this to be like more on the validator nodes and switch nodes level, because I've been in this since the beginning, and that's what I bought into at first. So I'd kind of like to maybe see something on that whenever you guys get around to it.
Absolutely. So it's very important to know that the exchange that we'll be releasing is also powered by the switch and validation nodes, as well as a couple of other network elements that are already running. Okay, so the core is a very interesting solution. And we will be releasing a paper on the Minutes Network vision in the next couple of weeks. That being said, there is also an AMA that's due to go out in the next couple of weeks as well. So perhaps they'll coincide around the same time.
All right, perfect. Josh, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, King Warwolf. Appreciate your time. Thanks for the questions and thanks for coming up. We have Matt Larsh. Are you with us, Matt?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How's it going?
Very well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I had a question about the Pakistan campaign. So when it first started, it was on for like 3 days, and the numbers zipped from like 0 to 13,000. And then the next part was supposed to be like the huge wave. That was a tester, and then now it's just moving very, very slowly. Is this is that SMS issue, and is that still going to be tried to fix? Like, what's the big difference between the first part and the second part that's very slow?
Okay, so as it stands, one of the mediums that's being utilized for the operational success of the marketing in Pakistan is having a problem, and it's a problem with one of the local partners. It's a resolvable problem. It is a capacity issue. Okay, at the start of the campaign, there was a lot more capacity dedicated to the campaign. We have since spoken multiple times with the partners. The partners are, have assured us locally on the ground that the capacity available will increase. We are pushing to have that increase, and then the campaign will continue to operate at least the initial speed. Remember, that initial speed was not anywhere close to the speed that we're expecting to be able to gather the users at in this campaign. Okay, we obviously don't have unlimited frequent callees. There are a finite amount of frequent callees that we have marketing access to. That being said, there is a very large number, and we do expect to gather and onboard as many of those as possible over the coming weeks and months. And we do expect that campaign speed to increase and shift gear as we are provisioned additional capacity on the ground in Pakistan. So, for a simple explanation, there is an issue with one of the mediums, and that issue is set to be resolved. And when it's resolved, it will be absolutely obvious that it has been resolved.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so is that one of the mediums? Like, so that medium and then other mediums, you'll like make a tweet or whatever, and you'll let us know whenever those are turned on, or will we just know it from the numbers?
You'll know from the numbers, and we'll talk about them in different events. This is by all means not or by any means, this is not the last Jingle event that we'll be hosting. Perhaps 7 to 10 to 12 days, you'll see another Jingle event go out where we can reflect on the progress that's been made.
Okay, cool. And then and that was my only question, but I was gonna say, and you said earlier you're gonna start adding more countries to Jingle soon. Is that what you just said?
Definitely. We're looking at which countries can go first and how and the various mechanisms. We're also talking to our partners and looking at the commitments and the volumes and, the rates that we can buy at, the rates that we can sell at, and how Jingle changes that as it's embedded, right? So these are things that are, being economically sounded out and will take shape and go into production.
Okay, that's all I had. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Matt. Thank you very much for coming up. Appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We have Ben Schiller. Hi, Ben. How are you today? Ben, can you hear me? I see that you are a speaker, but you are muted currently. If we have anyone else that would like to come up and ask any questions whilst we wait for Ben, You are more than welcome. Okay, so it's a bit quiet. I can't see anybody else requesting except for Ben, who has already been accepted. Oh, you've dropped back to a listener, Ben. If you'd like to re-request, I will accept your re-request. Hi, Ben. How are you today?
Hi, Josh. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can indeed. I can indeed.
Okay, great. I have a few concerns I would like to address.
Yes, please, of
Uh,
course.
First of all, I also mentioned it in one of the comments in this tweet. Like I think for the past 2 years we have been hearing that we are expecting a lot, and it's always in the next few weeks or the upcoming weeks. And I think this AMA also is like very repetitive. Like we have been hearing it for the past 2 years, and I mean, we have seen some progress, but like it's not the progress we were expecting. And yeah, I'm just curious, like how do you see this thing continue? Because if it goes in the pace we are yeah, going right now, I think we will be here until 2030.
Right. So, first of all, I really hope we're here until 2030. That being said, I respect your questions and I'm here to give you an answer to all of them. We are making the progress as quickly as we can possibly progress. There are various third parties involved in each element of the network. We do everything we can to ensure that we operate on, as much of a you can do it yourself basis as possible, right? The reliance upon third parties is limited to only where it's absolutely necessary. Of course, we have made a decent amount of progress and we continue to progress. The technology itself was a massive feat to put together. The Jingle technology, especially before the rise of artificial intelligence, you have to remember that this has been built. And now, if you say, okay, we want to build an application or we want to, it's actually very quick and very easy if you know how to use the various artificial intelligence interfaces that are available. We built Jingle in the US, with the best, most senior and professional staff that we could possibly find. The build did take some time. We also built a number of extensions for partnering or said to be partnering applications who we are still pushing today and who have not said no, for the record. Okay. They are still integrating, they are still interested, they still love the concept, and we're moving forward. Some of these applications are billion-dollar companies, and everybody moves at their own pace. It's very important to understand that the team are just as impatient and just as eager to proceed and grow the network's revenue and the network's traffic as quickly as possible. And that being said, we have also, initiated the hyperscaling on frequent callees for one very good reason. And the reason was that we weren't happy to sit and wait and only push on new application partners for the integration of Jingle. We wanted to make things faster. And what came from that was the hyperscaling initiative, where we do not rely on a third-party application. And now you can see that the Jingle Pakistan campaign has gone live and it continues to build. And we are telling you that we're expecting the pace only to increase. So I hope that does answer your question. If it doesn't, or you have any additional questions, please do let me know.
Well, yeah, not really a question, because I mean I'm just here to like I know there are some community members, one of which I am myself. Like I've been here from the beginning, and 5 years. Yeah, 5 years ago I invested in World Mobile, and 5 years later I'm still holding all of my tokens. But I mean, I think if you look at the chart, we all token holders are very disappointed with the progress that have been made in those 5 years.
I understand.
Then
I
then
understand. First
then
of all,
then
I would like
yeah,
to express.
let me finish, please.
Sure, Ben. Go ahead.
Afterwards, I got notice of Minutes Network, and I was like, okay, this tokenomic model sounds way better. And actually, I had very high hopes of you and the team executing this. only now 2 years in, and the pace is still like not quite what I was expecting. And also I bought like a few Unity nodes, and also this project is not really living up to what I was sold on in the beginning, like what I was expected. So, and I know these are very big projects, and you guys have a amazing vision. I have to give you that. But like in terms of execution, I don't know. I'm just a little disappointed in the three projects, and I think a lot more community members are. And I just want to address this because yeah, I still hold everything. I hold all my minutes token. I have my nodes. I have my Unity nodes. I haven't even minted my Unity nodes yet, but maybe I have to do it in the future once it becomes valuable. But for now, I just want to address these concerns some of the community members are having. Like there are obviously some people who are still very supportive and happy, but there are also some community members who have been here for over 5 years, which are not so happy, if you understand.
Right. So, having heard what you've said, first of all, I cannot speak for World Mobile or Unity at this time, but I can tell you that World Mobile is a tremendous project with a tremendous amount of effort going into development. And I don't think that there are any other projects, actually competing with what World Mobile are doing today. I'm extremely proud of what World Mobile has done. Market price is not one of the topics that I'm able to talk to you about today, but personally, in my own opinion, don't see it as reflective upon the amount of effort or success that's being made. And I do believe that World Mobile are one of the leading projects in its category. I don't know if you've seen all of the sort of projects that World Mobile are managing or that World Mobile are running. But it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible from my standpoint, right? And of course, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I don't think that any other project out there is giving the same sort of transparency, the same sort of, I just don't think there's anything else on the level, right? For UNetwork, I must tell you that having seen the amount of rewards that have been paid, okay, it's a million $1 million+ dollars, isn't it? So I don't think there's another deep pin project out there that has paid that amount of rewards until today. But I would recommend you to bring this up in the next UNetwork meeting. I think they are taking place every 2 weeks now. So I would recommend that, and I would recommend that you express your opinion and your, any questions that you might have over there. I can speak for Minutes Network. Obviously, what we're doing has never been done before. We are making tremendous progress. We have made tremendous progress with the technology. We've onboarded a number of carriers. We're set out to build, the first and mega exchange in telecommunications. I mean, there are another couple of exchanges out there, but they're definitely not doing what we're doing. Instantaneous interconnections and automatic settlement with escrow, and full caller ID testing over all the routes that can be seen. I mean, it's a real technological feat, isn't it? And for the telco industry, I do think that that's game changing. We have, sort of delight features for the floor of conferences where people can actually connect via scanning a QR code and sort of trade routes immediately without exchanging email addresses and LinkedIn's. It's a really, carefully designed and beautifully thought out project. Now, besides that, we also have a number of extremely large named applications that we have told you the names of, and the potential is absolutely massive. So I am looking forward to having those applications on board. And I do look forward to what the future brings. And I know that we have the potential to become the world's largest telecommunications operator by user base just because of the way that we onboard users. Okay, it's not because of marketing. It's not because we're it's only because of the technology. Jingle allows us to absorb users and user bases from existing applications that have already worked very hard to collect them. And we do so not for free. We share that revenue that's generated with the application that we're working with, right? And I think that kind of model is I mean, it's perpetual growth enabling, isn't it? It's something that doesn't really exist out there. I don't know how many applications or projects or companies that you've seen that can absorb the user base of additional applications and utilize applications as building blocks to create a telecommunications network. I think, this on its own is very special, but it doesn't stop there, right? We have done a tremendous effort to make sure that we sort of run in parallel with the hyperscaling and parallel, frequent callees that are, being brought onto the network. So I understand your points. I've listened to your points, and I hope you understand mine. And I hope that gives you somewhat more of an idea and concept as to where we are today and where we're going tomorrow. The Minutes Network vision will also describe and document all of this information. So, when that paper is released, if you'd like to join the AMA after the release of that paper and ask any additional questions, you're more than welcome. And of course, we appreciate you. Thank you very much, Ben, for coming up. We seem to have lost you from the stage. Let me see. But we do have Rob Nexus Nodes who would like to speak. Hi, Rob. How are you today? Rob, can you hear me? I have accepted you as a speaker.
Hello, Josh. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can indeed. Hi, Rob. How are you today?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Very well. Thank you very much.
I dropped a question in the Telegram chat, the actual official Minutes Network one, but I'll just ask it on here in case you miss it. But what's the initial volume and appetite looking like when the exchange eventually goes live? Can you share any more sort of insight or data or details on that?
So right now we have been working with some very close partners and existing interconnections on the exchange, and we've been onboarding them so that they can trial it and give us feedback and tell us what needs to change and what they don't like and what they love, right? It's very important to get that sort of closed alpha or even beta, if you will, out of the way. So we will start with some volume. And we'll start with the volume of those interconnections. Now, we'll also be taking it to various conferences and exhibitions worldwide and demonstrating the product, with stands and exhibiting over there with the team. The first of which will be in Madrid, and the second will be in London or Dubai. So we are excited, and we will announce those dates that we're presenting live. If anybody from the partners or the various social medias would like to join us, you're more than welcome. We would love to have you with us at those exhibitions or events. I will also be personally attending a lot of those as well, so it will be great to get to know some of you. I know that we have a few partners coming over, to those events already. We will be challenging the other switch and cloud switching solutions in the industry. We provide a much lower sort of cost to entry, and we also provide a lot more features, and we have features that are sort of pointed towards the mechanics of these exhibitions and of these floors, right? We're making it easy for carriers to connect, making it easy for interconnections to be made, and we're also eliminating fraud by ensuring that there is automated escrow settlement within the exchange for any trade that takes place, right? So it's a wonderful platform. In terms of what I expect from the release, aside from the existing traffic from our interconnections that will be onboarded, I think it's very interesting, isn't it? Let's see how the product gets taken by the market. We're hearing great things. We will invite everybody that we know. There is a referral program. We do have a lot of friends in the industry, and we will be looking to work with some of the other switching solutions and provide them additional feature sets via API or via white labeled products from the exchange. All of the technology is ready. We're very proud of what we've built, and I can't really give you a number in terms of what we can expect immediately upon release, but it is an exciting question and prospect, and we do expect great things.
Thanks for the answer on that. So do you have an idea of the addressable market
Yes,
that
it's
the exchange is capable of accessing, let's say. So, is there a dollar figure to that,
oh,
that you guys are forecasting and seeing?
it's the total addressable market, and we wish to onboard all of it, of course, but we have to remain realistic here. There are a lot of old carriers that don't like to change their ways, and there are a lot of medium to new carriers out there that don't mind changing things. Okay, and then obviously as the new guys take place in their position, the old guys will obviously follow, and we will start to see additional movement. We have a couple of large names and to onboard for the beginning, and I think the total addressable market size is within the billions, right? Because or maybe tens of billions. It's industry wide. We're looking at the SMS industry, which it caters for. We're looking at the direct inward dial industry and the dialer campaign industry, as well as the AI agents industry that's connected for call centers. I mean, the exchange is absolutely ready for a call center to onboard themselves. It has AI agents, it has all of the routes, all of the legal requirements that are required is all sort of covered in the compliance forms of the exchange. It is stir and shaken compliance, as well as the voice elements, and data is due to be onboarded into the exchange maybe before or shortly after launch as well. So we cater for a number of markets, and we do hope to see, well, I hope to see, of course, like anybody who builds such a product, I do hope to see it utilized for potential billions of dollars of value.
It's interesting. Okay, I appreciate the insight there. If I can just segue back into the Pakistan campaign a little bit,
Of course.
I can obviously sense there's been some headaches and some challenges that you've had to overcome a little bit. I think some of the sort of feedback we received, and I don't know whether that was directly from one of the members via one of the ambassadors, but when it comes to the let's say the text campaign that you had in Pakistan, it was mentioned that it was something to do with the routing of the text messages and maybe getting lost or changed, some of the data getting changed. Can you share any more details on that? I think you made it pretty clear that it's not where you had expected it to be. But I
Correct.
think just trying to clear up, what has been the issue, and what are the resolutions that you're trying to get done to get it back on track, or to show that sort of hyperscaling increase that you're expecting.
Right. So in Pakistan, we do have a very large commitment in terms of reach and volume. Now, there are a number of different mediums being used for the campaign. You're talking about the text medium. That text medium currently lacks additional capacity. When additional capacity is put on that route, it doesn't go any quicker than it goes today, because there is only a certain amount of sort of input output that can be taken by the SMPP gateways at this time. That being said, we are ensured and promised that that issue will be resolved on the ground very shortly, and that we will have a spread of routes to choose from, where the marketers can then proceed with their campaign. That resolution could come as fast as tomorrow morning. Okay, we are expecting it every day. I wake up personally and expect to hear major news that it's been resolved. I am fully aware that it will be resolved. I do trust the people that we're working with under contract implicitly, and we are working with the finest of the finest in Pakistan as it stands. There are problems in the SMS industry. You can send an SMS with a very large provider and it might not be delivered, even though you receive a delivery report. Now, this is absolutely unacceptable. We have experienced this. We have reported this. We've followed up, and this has been resolved. There are also issues where the SMS is delivered, but the wrong content is delivered, right? So this comes down to middlemen, and sometimes carrier services purchasing from the direct market. So in the integrity of the SMS is obviously extremely important for us. We want the SMS to be delivered as sent. Okay, so we're assured, as I said, that the teams on the ground are taking care of this, and that the capacity of the SMS route will be increased in due course.
Thanks for the explanation on that one. That's that's a lot more helpful. I just have one final question about the Pakistan campaign. Is how what's the best way of putting this? So you're looking at the conversion rate of 0.75 to 6%. I think it was that you said earlier. Are you separating out that conversion rate between the different types of campaigns? So
Oh, absolutely,
so,
absolutely, yes.
so that leads into the sort of final question then, sorry, which is how successful is the text campaign in Pakistan? Because, I, for one, if I receive a text message, from a random number that I don't know, trying to sell me something, I'll instantly just report it as spam, and I
Based
won't touch it. So,
based on the numbers that we can reach, it's extremely successful. I mean, it depends on the volume that we can reach, right? Here, a low percentage is actually okay because you have so much potential reach, right? So, it's like saying I would prefer a lower percentage of 100 billion than a higher percentage of 1 million, right? So it's one of those ones, okay? But the percentages that we're seeing, I mean, it's fantastic to see everything converting so well. Obviously, we are interested in retention rates. There is some user churn there. We combat that with additional sort of messages and additional mediums going out of marketing. And we do hope to always stay above the user churn rate, right? So it's very important that we have this campaign fine-tuned and running as well as possible because it's very valuable for us as a company. So we are expecting our partners on the ground to provision that additional capacity that I spoke of, which will then continue to increase the rate and frequency of the sends.
okay. And then obviously that's gonna, as the numbers increase, then that's gonna drive the Jingle revenue, which is I think something that we're all looking forward to seeing. So, and I know I've said it 3 times that it's going to be my last question, but this generally will be. But
Yeah, that's
when
okay, Rob. You take your time.
when will we see the revenue from Jingle into the let's say the reward system and the buybacks?
So actually, the revenue is already calculated on the Explorer. I'm not sure if it's added to the overall total, but it is there and it is considered a part of. So the DPIN fees on that revenue will be paid.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it from me. I appreciate you allowing me on stage and asking some questions.
No,
So
of
thank you.
course. Thank you very much for coming up, Rob. Very helpful questions, I'm sure, for the audience, and always love to discuss what we're doing. If we have anyone else that would like to come up and ask any questions, I have time. You are more than welcome. Okay, I don't currently see any requests as it stands. We'll maybe just wait a couple more minutes for anybody who's, moving to a silent room where they can talk or connecting their microphone.
Hey,
And we can
Josh, while we
proceed.
wait,
Yes, Callis.
is there going to be sort of a retail version of the exchange where retail customers can come on? I know you said it's mostly a wholesale thing, but will it sell
Absolutely.
like?
There's a
Go ahead.
product called Talk Time that will be released in the next couple of weeks, hopefully quicker. It's currently under legal review. That product is the retail side of the exchange. It connects to the exchange. It utilizes all of the available rates and the LCR from the exchange, as well as the switch and validation nodes. It works for SMS. It works for inbound calls. You can set your own caller ID on the outbound calls by verifying your phone number. It's a great retail solution. We're not relying on it for an immediate growth in terms of traffic, but it's definitely something that we have wanted to do for quite a long time. It also sort of replaces the medium for the AMA. Okay, so in future when that's released, there is a rooms function. All of the rooms have the option to be recorded and permanently stored, as well as transcribed directly through the application. We also have an embedded AI assistant live on every call. It's optional because some people might not want that. But yeah, that's going to be there as well. So Talk Time will be available very soon. It is the retail side of the dialer system at Minutes Network, and it's connected to the network. Any call you make on Talk Time will be visible on the Explorer and will be processed by the larger network. I hope that clears that up, Callus, and I hope that's some good information for you there.
Yeah, no, thanks very much.
Okay. Well, I don't see anybody else requesting to speak at this time.
Josh,
Hey,
am I fair to
Josh.
ask one more question?
Go ahead, guys. Yes, please.
Go
Of
ahead.
course.
Go on, King. Well, you go first. I'll come after.
Okay, I appreciate it. This is kind of a current topic. I just want to get your input on it. I saw today Elon Musk said SpaceX is coming after Verizon and Vodafone and all those guys. What do you think about that? Do you think does that make you nervous or make you smile? What do you think about that?
No, it makes me smile. Like we love this in the industry, right? It's all very interesting. It's a great industry. It's a bit like disconnected. Not everybody can know each other, and it's all very sort of, even at the conferences when you go there, it's very hard to connect with people for a regular sort of telco that's up and coming. For us, the solution is the exchange. We do have a lot of friends in the industry, and we look forward to the utilization of that exchange and helping people that we don't know connect to Minutes Network as well. So yes, I think it's brilliant.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No, of course. Thank you, King Warwolf. Rob, I believe you had another question.
Yeah, just to double click a little bit on the SCW thing. So I think it's been a couple of years since I first sort of got into Minutes Network, and I remember from some of the early days, let's say marketing information. I think SCW was on there in the hope of having 1.2 or 2 billion platform users by the beginning of this year, to January 2026. Now I also work in sort of commercial and sales, so I fully understand dealing with huge corporations and organizations that a lot of these things can take a hell of a long time to not only implement, especially with a new type of service, but also then the contractual side behind it takes quite simply a freaking age to negotiate. So, where are you seeing like the hurdles at the moment with SCW? I mean, is it on the contractual side? Is it on the, I mean, I would assume that you're obviously attacking, the right stakeholders within SCW, but is there any pinch points that you have at the moment that you really
So
see delaying this thing?
I mean, look, our team are talking to the very top individuals at SEW. Okay, we're definitely talking to the right people. We have passed over the GitHub repo, and we have passed over the instructions, and they've had a good look at it, and they're very happy with it. We've also built modules for them, the call center module primarily. Okay. And it's purely the fact that their list of priorities is probably, wide and deep. Okay. So they understand the model, they understand the concept. We do have an additional meeting booked, I believe, in the coming week. So I'm obviously excited to hear more from them, and I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see them come on board. I do personally believe that they will come on board. I believe that there is alignment and that everything is, arranged that needs to be arranged. I think it's as simple as them finishing the integration and making the push.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have an indicative time frame on that, or is it sort of kind of open ended and it'll be like
Well,
a breaking of a dam
perhaps
effect when it goes?
it will definitely be the breaking of it will definitely be the breaking of a dam effect when it goes. I think in the next meeting, I will obviously be pushing for a concrete time frame, as I always do with any of the applications that we talk to. And I think I'll be more equipped to give you a clear answer on that in the up and coming meeting, perhaps in the next 7 to 14 days.
Okay, thanks, Josh.
Thank you very much, Rob.
I kind of got my wires crossed a little bit earlier about the sort of jingle revenue and the buybacks, etc. I'm hoping you maybe announce this now, but obviously there's a bit of an elephant in the room around the 12.5% revenue coming from Unity that was obviously distributed into the Minutes Network ecosystem. Is there going to be any update on that anytime soon?
Yes, so the revenue is there, and it's just not visible on the Explorer. On the next push to the Explorer, the additional statistics for the various campaigns that are going out, as well as the UNetwork side of things, will be visible.
Okay, perfect. I promise I'll shut up now. So thank you.
No problem. You don't. You're more than welcome.
Okay.
I'm here for question time, and yeah, we love the interaction. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the enthusiasm from the larger 99%. And yes, thank you very much for joining and asking questions. Do we have anyone else on the floor that would like to come up and ask any questions? I don't see any requests as it stands. Perhaps we'll give it a minute just because sometimes X and requesting the microphone can be a little bit complicated. And if we don't have anybody else coming up, I think we'll end it there. But before we go, let me bring it back to where we started, just on the Jingle Pakistan campaign, the major campaign in Pakistan running right now. 17,000 people live tonight. The campaign is running hard. It can run harder. It will run harder, and it will, with more reach and more pace on the way. Not to be confused with the Creators Program, which is a different initiative to attract more users to the network and to install Jingle. New traffic, the exchange, all of which we've discussed tonight, and a map that we intend to light up, right, country by country. So before we go, thank you very much. Thank you for being a part of this. And for watching the lights come on across Pakistan, and for your questions that you brought tonight. And this doesn't happen in one room on its own, right? This has been a lot of work to put together, and we're very proud of what we've built. We obviously want to build faster and larger as quickly as possible. That is always the aim, and we will continue to build as fast and as large as possible. We will post the details of our next Jingle event within the next, as I said, 7 to 10 days or so. Why so soon? Because we expect real movement in that window, and the Pakistan campaign should be accelerating with more reach and more pace, as I said, coming online, and more of the flywheel sort of turning. We do expect additional countries to start coming into view, and the other parts of the flywheel I mentioned, right? They reinforce one another as they grow. And through every bit of it, our focus obviously stays firmly on Pakistan and the growth. This is where it's being proven live, and this is where the team's momentum currently lives. So keep the Explorer open, keep your questions coming, and we will see you again very, very soon with even more to celebrate, more to reflect on together. I appreciate everybody's time. I apologize. Have a lovely day wherever you are in the world. I appreciate everybody's time. Thank you for joining, and over but not out. Thank you.